Hello, welcome to my live. I'm Sarah. Um, I have this live just for people who are questioning their faith, deconstructing their faith, and looking for a place to connect, to meet other people in the same place, and just to to chat and answer questions. Hi, Autumn. How's it going? Hello, Lilith. Good to see you. Checkers just popped up here, so she's cuddling tonight too, being a sweet pea. It was good, yeah. I hope your day was good too. I do get time off for Christmas, yeah. My audio is low. Hi, Dr. Joe. Is my audio low for other people or is it just for Con? I'm sorry you had a tough day. Hi, Manny. Okay. Hello, Absurdist. Okay, I'm glad the audio is okay for most people then. Well, if anyone's new, hey, this is like reflecting weird. Hang on, let me turn this off. Is it too dark if I do it this way? Oh, weird, Con. I don't know why it would be doing that. Well, already my app is crashing because, of course. So if I cut out for a minute, I'm sorry, my app has crashed. Hey, David. Okay, and that didn't take long. Let's try that. Yep. Well, there we go. If anyone needs a little palate cleanser, here's Checkers being cute and cuddly. And my folded and not put away laundry. My bad. Happy Thursday. Hi, Thomas. Hi. Hey, Rachel. Is there a specific topic tonight? I just put in the title, "You Don't Deserve Hell." I'm always happy to talk about hell. Oh, you have two bunnies? Oh, I love that. Am I ready for Christmas? I never have my Christmas shopping done in time or ahead of time. I am a chronic Christmas Eve shopper. But I'll get it done. It'll be fine. It'll be good. Hi, Katie. I know, Autumn. I'm terrible about that. Oh my gosh, July. That would just stress me out. Do I believe in Christmas? I'm not sure what that means. Oh, do I believe in Santa? I do not, unfortunately. But I feel like it's a good example for how we don't actually choose our beliefs. Hey, Epic. That was a dark joke. Yeah, euphoric, I agree. The health thing really does suck. It's like almost cartoonishly evil. Well, hey, Joe. Welcome. Yeah, it's hard to pull off dark humor under this context because you never actually know, you know? Katie says, I feel so much happier now that I'm freed from the delusion of hell. I'm glad. I am aware that Gnostic Christianity is a thing. I do not know all the theology of Gnostic Christianity. Hi, John. Ah, there you go. You also don't deserve outer darkness. Fair enough. That is an odd dream, Joe. If we had aliens confirm what? Like, aliens would certainly put a big wrench in religion. Jim says, what happens if hell turns out to be a real place? Well, I have a lot more questions then. I mean, in this hypothetical scenario, is there a God? Did that God send people there? Can that God prevent people from going? Hi, Michelle. Hey, Dee. Is there good and evil? Well, I mean, certainly humans can cause each other a lot of harm and be kind to each other, but I don't believe in like a supernatural force of good and evil. Oh, that's cool, Dee. What do you mean we don't deserve hell? Have you humanity? So I don't think any living being deserves infinite suffering. I don't think that that's ever justified. So no matter how horrible a human is, I might think that severe consequences are appropriate, but I don't think that infinite suffering is ever a just consequence. No, Tony, a lot of people take their last breath and still don't believe in Jesus. Hmm. John says it's kind of weird how so many parents who love their kids think their kids are good, ethical people, but then have to believe their kids are going to hell for just being an atheist. Yeah, there's a lot of cognitive dissonance there. Um, and I think the majority of the time, those parents just don't have to deal with it because they either believe or assume that their kids are just going to go to heaven. And I remember when I deconstructed talking to my dad, and the doctrine of hell was a big thing for me. Um, and I remember asking my dad point blank, like, Dad, do you think I deserve eternal suffering? And it was a hard moment because I could see him going back and forth because I knew the answer, and the answer was no. He doesn't think I deserve infinite suffering. But his theology told him that I did. And he'd never had to grapple with it because I was always a believer. What made you think about hell that way? Um, Partially the Bible and partially, I think, my upbringing. Do you believe in an afterlife? No, I don't think there is an afterlife. Oh, well, this is actually a horrifying question. Keith says, my dad has a great question. If there is no God, what keeps us from doing whatever we want, taking what we want despite of others and being good? Luckily, we live in the US. Um, Keith, are you saying the only reason you don't do those things is because you believe in God, not because you actually care about other people? I don't believe in God, and I care deeply about the pain of others. I don't want to cause people pain. Do you? Edgar, thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate it. Edgar says, right on, sister. I spent years scared of hell. Yeah, I mean, it's designed to be the most terrifying thing possible. Hi, Doc. What is our purpose here if there's no afterlife? I'm not sure why an afterlife would give us purpose in the first place. You find what is meaningful and you live your life full of that meaning, you know? This life is the purpose. This is it. This is the thing, you know? Experience, love, learn, grow. I don't think you need to have an afterlife in order to have purpose. Are you in any religion now? No, I am not. So, Mr. Gost, I hear this every day. Basically, the argument that it's just separation. So, Mr. Gost says it's a place far from God in a symbolic sense. He never created it for humans. If you choose to spend your life far from Him, eternity will be spent far from Him. But you're creating a choice where there is not a choice. I am not choosing to be far away from God. That is not what is happening. I am not convinced that God is real. However, I do live my life with a lot of fruits of the Spirit. I live my life very similarly to what was preached in the Sermon on the Mount and the Beatitudes. So I'm not convinced God is real, but I think you'd have a hard time saying I'm choosing to live far from God. That's just not the case. And so to say I must endure infinite whatever, this is not a choice I'm making. I can't make myself believe in God. Thank you, Allable. Oh my gosh, Michelle, I can't believe someone said that to you. That's horrible. I'm so sorry. Outer says, it's a shame how theism devalues humanity and this life. Atheism has made this life more precious, not less. Yeah, absolutely. Like if this is just we're just taking a test to the next life, then this life isn't all that important. But I think it is that important. Well, I'm so sorry, Michelle. Hi, Raving. Yeah, this idea that we have to be grateful because we deserved to be crucified is really emotionally manipulative and just cruel. Um, this is a particularly evangelical idea that you are so horrible and deeply evil that you deserve to suffer forever. And I don't think you are. And this often I get rebutted by people saying, well, you're not perfect. Have you ever lied? Like, but those aren't the only two options. Like, to say the only two options are perfection or deserving eternal torment. Like, there's so much in between. Yeah, I don't blame you, Michelle. Yeah, Edgar says no amount of earthly suffering is anything compared to eternity of suffering. That also is a quite a contradiction, that, the teaching is that Jesus took your punishment, except he didn't, because he didn't stay there. Like, if my punishment is eternal suffering, then Jesus did not take my punishment. Hey, Ekta. No, Checkers, you can't have that. I'm gonna go stop her, but oops. This is Checkers stealing Ruby's food. Checks? No. She's such a goober. I gotta go stop her. Bunny loves dog food. No, you can't have that, Checkers. That's not food. What a little goober. No, Ruby put herself to bed. He was sinless and paid the fine, but he didn't pay the fine. If my fine is eternal suffering, Jesus did not pay that. Does the dog ever steal the bunny's food? No, she does not care about the bunny's food in the least. Do dogs go to heaven? Well, if there's a heaven, dogs had better go. Hi, 89. No worries, Chip. It seems like it'll be a chill night, so we're good. Hi, Justin. Real says, I see you deleting comments. Do you know what kind of comments I delete? Do you understand the really explicit, demeaning things people say to me on the internet? Do you have any idea? Yeah. Missy, I do not promise that this is a 100% open forum. That I never promised that. This is a place for people who are deconstructing, who are leaving their faith and want to connect to other people in the same spot. We do have rules. And if you don't follow the rules, then this is not the place for you. I do ask that you respect those and follow those. Not you, real. I deleted an explicit comment. I have no idea what you said or what was deleted. I'm just explaining to you why we have rules. Oh, William, I'm so sorry. Why should people leave the faith? I'm not telling them that they should. Real, did you hear me when I said what the purpose of this chat is for? Hi, Seal. Good to see you. Welcome, Natu. Yeah, and certainly we are very familiar with the Bible. So for people asking why I don't believe any longer, I have an FAQ playlist that gives you that whole backstory. Oh, good. Oma thinks I'm a fool. I can't imagine doing that. Like when I was a Christian, I certainly could get preachy sometimes, but I can't imagine going onto an atheist's chat and insulting them. Like that's so counterproductive to what you're trying to do, you know? I don't get it. Do I believe faith? I'm not sure what you mean by that. Hey, Bob. How are the bunnies? Good, good. Here's Checkers. She hopped back up after I would not let her steal Ruby's food. Yeah. I'm sorry. You can't have her food. It's not good for you. Yeah, you're a bunny. Yeah. I don't think Jesus was red-pilled, actually. Jean, I didn't quit. So for anyone asking me why I don't believe anymore, that is on my page. I don't answer that question because I would just be answering that same question over and over again for the entire live, and it wouldn't be any fun for anyone. Yimmy, I'm glad that like you all can still have a great relationship. That's awesome. We are of light. I don't know what that actually means. William says, I was talking to a Christian tonight and they told me that my desire for a relationship with God was proof of God. That sounds like one of C.S. Lewis's arguments, the argument from like desire. And I don't think that that proves much of anything. Just because we desire something, that's not evidence that it must exist. Justin asks is it that you don't believe in Jesus or you don't believe in the whole thing? So I consider myself an agnostic atheist, meaning that I don't believe in any God, but I also don't think that I can ever know for sure. Do I think Christianity is true? No. I used to, and I don't anymore. Was life better when in a relationship through daily prayer and conversation or now? So nothing is ever perfect, meaning there were good things and bad things when I was a Christian, and there are good things and bad things now. I will say I do think I have more peace now. I think my mental health is better now. But again, it's not like it was terrible and wonderful. There's good and bad in both situations. Marie, this is not a place for people to try to convert others to their faith. What about how they say something can't come from nothing? I don't think something came from nothing. I don't think there was ever nothing. Yeah, you're welcome, Wasted. Yeah, exactly, William. Do I lean towards process philosophy? I don't really enjoy philosophy of any kind, I'll be honest. Why do you think you have more peace? So a big part of it was being in this relationship with a God that was perfect and that I was always messing up. But it would create kind of this circle of shame and guilt because I would mess up, and I would seek forgiveness from God, and I believed he would grant it. But it still gave me so much anxiety that I kept, upsetting God or hurting his feelings. And um being in a relationship where you're the one who always messes up is hard on you. And then I would feel guilty for feeling anxious about it because I know now that I've said these words out loud, my chat is going to be filled with Christians saying, oh, well, then you did it wrong because, you should have just rested in the finished work of Jesus. I know, but we're humans, right? But then I would feel bad for feeling bad. It was so I think I did a lot of healing after I stopped believing and came to a place where I could like accept who I was. I didn't have to think that I was so deeply evil that I deserved infinite suffering. Katie says, I have more peace too. No more shame and searching for God and worrying if I was on the right path. Yeah, absolutely. Duck, that's funny. Welder says, all Christians struggle with believing they're not enough. That seems like a big problem then, right? If they're supposed to be in a relationship with this loving God. Um, Journal says that totally makes sense. Do you think guilt is inherently bad? No, I've read this distinction between guilt and shame that I really liked. That guilt is that feeling bad that you've done something wrong, but shame is feeling that you are bad. Um, and Dr. Joe can correct me if I have gotten those definitions incorrect, but I think guilt can be helpful sometimes. It can help us do better next time. I think shame, though, often can be paralyzing. And so I think constantly feeling shame is rarely helpful. Flock says, love is real. It's brain chemicals and they feel great. Yeah, so just because we understand how love works doesn't make it any less real. Yeah, so post data comments, this is why I don't share a lot with Christians because I get comments like this. Post data says, if you think God is always angry with you, you don't know him. He loved you. And then religion is shame and condemnation, but Jesus teaches forgiveness and love. I know. I know. And I said I was going to get a comment just like that, which is why I hesitate to share these things. But post data, I think you would be surprised by how many Christians, even Christians that you look up to, feel that same way. But they're afraid that people are going to say what you just said. And so they don't share it with each other. But the reality is, if you are in a relationship with someone or something that is always perfect, and you are always the one messing up, that can really take a toll on you, no matter how forgiving that person is. Do you ever have thoughts now of what if I'm wrong about this? So I certainly could be wrong about my agnostic atheism. Absolutely. Which is why I'm an agnostic atheist rather than a Gnostic atheist. I don't think I can ever know for sure. What I do know is that if there's something out there, there are infinite possibilities of what it could be. And I do know that I genuinely tried my best. I tried my best to find God, and I think only a cruel God would design me, make my brain, make my intellect, know ahead of time exactly how it was going to turn out, and then punish me for not being able to believe using the brain that he gave me. Yeah. For anyone deconstructing, you're going to hear this a lot, and I don't want you to take it personally. Jerome says, no one who is genuinely born again cannot leave what they never was a part of. I hear this every day. They'll probably quote 1 John 2:19 at you. Um, but the thing is, no one knows what's in your head. You do, though. And so we know that we genuinely believed, and we know that we actually did devote our lives to it and give our whole hearts to it and try our absolute best. And so there are going to be Christians who will say, no, you didn't, it's impossible, you're bad, you're wrong, you did it wrong, you didn't try hard enough. But we know. What denomination? I was a Protestant. Yes, I do have great mods. They're amazing. CHD, I gotta be honest, I have no idea who's in the Super Bowl this year. Yeah, William says, why is it that God gave us no option but to inherit sin? But when it comes to salvation, he doesn't do it the same way. Yeah, like why do we automatically get the curse of Adam? So Adam's sin was powerful enough to condemn everyone without any free will or choice of our own. But in order to be saved, suddenly now we have all this responsibility and we have to opt in. Um, Official, thank you for the super chat. Official Flower says, oh, it's you again. Here are my tithings. Please don't become a Joel Osteen. I promise I will never become Joel Osteen. What did you believe was the way to get to heaven? Accepting Jesus into your heart and as the Lord of your life. Good night, Chip. Try says, I have a question. I'm a non-Christian, but I'm curious to think, why is it you believe no one deserves hell? Or who do you believe does and doesn't? So the idea of hell, that is some form of eternal suffering, whether that's actually the lake of fire or if it's just separation from God, that includes like no love, no joy, and no hope. Either way, some form of eternal suffering, I don't think anyone deserves. Like, we are finite, we have this finite life, and it's not possible for us to cause infinite harm. So I don't know why anyone would deserve infinite punishment. What does leaving faith mean? It means I used to be a Christian and now I'm not. Mr. Smith, I don't think you have any interest in actually listening to what I have to say or believing me. You have no idea how hard I tried. You don't know me. Did you believe you had to work your way to heaven or be good enough to get there? Nope. I believed I did not deserve it and my works would never get me there, and I only got there by the grace of God, by accepting his free gift of salvation. Open-minded says the Bible isn't meant to be taken literally. Gosh, I bet there's probably some Christians in this chat right now who would vehemently disagree with you. Ender, no, I don't believe in God. Mr. Smith, I was Protestant. William says, if I had the power to condemn even one person to hell, I would never be able to enjoy my eternity in heaven knowing I had done that to them. Nice, yeah. And to that, I mean, heaven has just as many problems as hell does. How could anyone be happy in heaven knowing that people were suffering for eternity in hell? Jerome proving the point again. No, Jerome, I didn't do it with religious self-effort. As I just said earlier, I did not believe any of my works would be enough. I believed in the power of the Holy Spirit. It was very relational. I didn't have religion, I had relationship. All the ways that you're going to blame me for doing it wrong, it's not correct. No, Grant, nobody has any demons. Welder, no one is choosing hell. I'm not choosing hell. Do you think I'm choosing hell? Like I want to go? So for everyone asking, why did I walk away? Why don't I believe anymore? I have a video up on my page. It's on my FAQ playlist. Hi, little bunny. How are you? Hi. A little palate cleanse of a bun. This is Checkers. She likes to cuddle. There's your good bunny. Am I a vet? No, I'm not a vet. I have two bunnies. I am an agnostic atheist. I've read a lot of C.S. Lewis. Oh, Virtual, that's so kind. I don't know how to make a print of the llamas. I wouldn't know how to go about that, but if I ever figure it out, I will let you know. That's really sweet. Thanks. Official flowers. Now the dog. Thank you for the super chat. Hang on. Let me find her. Okay, Chex. Hang on, baby. I'm gonna go find the puppy. Should we go find her? Yeah. Okay, sweet girl. Yeah. 1 second. Okay, let's go see where Ruby is. Whoop. Okay. Should we go find her? She's not under the Christmas tree. Where is she? I wonder if she went upstairs. Oh, I see her. She's at the top of the stairs. Hang on. Hey, big girl. Oh, do you want some pets? Okay. That's a big fluffy doggy. Yeah, you're a big fluffy doggy, aren't you? It's a good girl. This is Ruby. She's very long. She takes up a lot of space. Yeah, it's a good baby. Good girl. And she likes chest scratchies. Yeah, you do. Did I wake you? Why are you in a box? Let's maybe move the box, honey. Good girl. All right. That was Ruby. Whoop. Yeah, she's such a good dog. Hey, Ekta, thank you for the super chat. Ekta says, I don't understand how these preachers can't grasp that by violating the chat rules, they portray their religion as pushy and disrespectful. Yeah, I mean, this varies from person to person, but I have met a lot of Christians who think that they don't have to respect anyone and they can be as, you know, even if someone says, no, thank you, I don't want to hear about it, they think the best thing to do is to keep pushing anyway. And I don't know why. Official, thank you again for the super chat. Official Flower says, biggest bunny we've ever seen, or I've ever seen. Oh, you're getting a puppy this weekend? I love that. Llamas for the win. Yay, llamas. No, Mr. Smith, the version of the Bible is not the problem. Again, maybe stop looking for why it's my fault. Why do you say agnostic atheist and not just agnostic? Well, I think if I just said the word agnostic, people would think I really am not sure about, like, I have no, I don't know, inclination one way or the other. But I don't think that there is a God. Like I don't, I don't believe in God, you know? So I think agnostic atheist just describes that so much better. Because I'm a fence sitter? I'm not sure what you mean by that. Carissa, why are you so insistent on asking my denomination? Why does it matter? Is it so you can tell me I was in the wrong denomination? Well, Carissa, you're right. I am assuming your religion based on your questions. When someone really asks, like the questions that you have asked seem very in line with a Christian. Um, so yeah, I did assume. Are you a Christian? Yeah, I've never had someone who was not a Christian ask me about my denomination. Official, just because you're uncomfortable with me saying agnostic doesn't mean I can just pick a side. Hi. Why would it matter what denomination she was? Every time someone has asked me that, I will tell them what denomination and they'll say, oh, that explains it. That's why you're not a Christian anymore. Oh, see, Welders is doing it right now. Christian, thank you so much for the super chat. Christian says, I'm a free spirit, not religious. My point of view, God didn't create religion in the first place. It was the people who spoke, wrote the Bible, and interpreted it in various ways to create religion. Yeah, I think, there's a lot of people kind of in that camp who believe in some sort of higher power, creative force, or force of love, or something, but don't identify with any like organized religion. So I think you're probably in pretty good company. Hey, imposter. No, Trevor, belief is not a choice. You cannot just make yourself believe something. Sick, I don't really know what hedonistic actually means like in practice. Pitts, I don't have to believe in love. I see direct evidence. I experience it directly. Like it's not something I have to believe in. 89 says, the bummer of Christianity is you have to know hermeneutics, 3 different languages, and a bunch of senseless theology to get it right. Yeah, that's where I kind of go in a circle with people is like they'll say, "Oh no, these people have it wrong and these Christians have it wrong and these Christians have it wrong. We have it right." Or, "No, you don't understand the context. You need to look at it in the original language." And eventually make the case that in order to actually understand the Bible, you need an advanced degree. You need to be able to read the original languages. You need, and the text becomes completely inaccessible. Which, if this is the only way that you're going to communicate with your people, it seems like an unbelievably inconvenient way to do that. Do you believe in life after love? Now it's in my head, Eve. So, Pitts, I don't just see signs of love and hope. I actually see them. Like, and uh, so I don't actually see God. My name's Sarah. Yeah, Era, we're just chatting a little bit about hell, but mostly just kind of chatting. Hey, official, thanks for the super chat. My favorite band. Oh my gosh, I have no idea. Oh, what is my favorite band? I could not tell you. Foreigner. I do like Foreigner. um, yeah, I genuinely don't know. Calamus, hi. Calamus says, I learn a lot about Christians reading the comments. It's not flattering. Yeah, I never understand why Christians come in here and don't lead with love. Imposter says, it was always so hard for me to think I had to interpret God's word with his Holy Spirit instead of just being able to read it outright and get what he was trying to say. Right? Like, why not just be clear? Julia, hi. It's so good to see you. I hope you're doing well. Trevor says, what's the point then? Validation? Atheists getting together to criticize God? Trevor, I want you to listen to me just for a second, and then you can get angry again. But the reason why people who have left their faith or deconstructed their faith need each other is because of the way that Christians treat us when we start questioning. The majority of people in this chat who don't believe, we used to go to church. We used to be Christians. We used to have faith. And when we started questioning, we were treated poorly by our communities and eventually get kicked out of our communities. And so we need community. We need each other because it is such a lonely, painful experience. We didn't choose this. We didn't choose to stop believing. And you coming in here as a Christian and essentially yelling at us is just proving that point of why we need each other because of how Christians will treat us. The corrupt communities you experienced is not God's fault. Trevor, I'm telling you to your face that the way you are acting is a problem. Amazing that you aren't able to take any accountability. Welder, you're doing the same thing, but with nicer words. It's not that people said you can't ask any questions. It's that if I didn't arrive at the correct answers, all of my friends at my church only wanted to convert me back. We couldn't just be friends anymore. Um, like at your church, do you have people who questioned God and kept questioning and then stopped believing in God and then remained part of your community? Do you have anyone like that at your church? Yeah, William says, when I left my church at the beginning of 2024, I lost all my friends. Only one person from my church remained friends with me, and she's been a great friend ever since. Oh, I'm so happy. I'm happy. I mean, that at least one person stayed friends with you. Official Flower, thank you very much for the super chat. Official says, what is your opinion on the unmovable object and the unstoppable force? I mean, it seems like sort of like a nonsense hypothetical. If one exists, then by definition, the other one cannot exist. Well, that's awesome, Julia. I I believe you. Yeah, Minnie says the audacity of theists presuming to know someone else's experience is really frustrating. Duck Lover, no, this is for people who have left their faith. Welders, being an atheist was not a choice. I did not choose to stop believing. It was something that happened to me. Imposter says, I wish I could have chosen to stay in the faith, would have been much easier. Yeah, I wish Christians could understand that too, that staying in the faith was the easy choice, but we weren't able to do it. Cute Puppy says, I lost all my friends. Fundamentalism is harsh. Creation says, I know a lot of Christians who are disowned by their atheist parents. I actually don't. So I guess those are just stories I have not ever heard. Yeah, Steven says, I wanted to believe so badly, I just couldn't. Rick, I have a video that goes through my whole backstory on my page. I have an FAQ playlist. Emily says, hi, Sarah. I hope you are well. Curious question. If you do not believe in faith in God, what is your purpose in this life if in the end you believe there's nothing? What is the point of living? So I don't think any experience has to be eternal in order for it to be meaningful. We get to experience life now. And even though these moments don't last forever, they happen and then they're gone, they still happened. And so, if you show kindness to someone right now, it matters to them right now. And yes, eventually both of you will die, but it still happened. And I find meaning in that. Gator says you cannot choose to believe, doesn't make sense. And then Skeletora says you can't choose to understand 2 + 2 = 4, but once you do, 2 + 2 = 5 will never make sense. Are you folks really saying there are no beliefs that are communally or societally forced? So you can have a communal or societal expectations around behavior, but you cannot force a belief. Like you could indoctrinate someone into a belief, maybe, if they have lack of exposure to other beliefs. But the way Christians are positing it, you could just choose to keep believing, but you can't just choose to keep believing. Like right now, you couldn't just choose to believe in another God. It doesn't, your brain doesn't work that way. Belief is not an action. No. I know this is a silly example, but could you believe in Santa Claus right now? You couldn't, I don't think, because you're not convinced that he's real. And no, I'm not comparing your God to Santa Claus. It's just something that many people used to believe in and now they don't. And so you can't just choose to believe it's true. You could choose to act like it's true. You could choose to do more research. You could choose to engage in conversations about it, but you can't actually choose to believe it. Um, 89, thank you so much for the super chat. 89 says, gotta jump, love you, mods, and community. Yay for llamas. Thanks, 89, so good to see you. Christian, thank you so much for the super chat. Christian says, when people say if I'm Christian, I'm like, yes, that is my name. And that must be confusing in a particular chat like this one. Pitts, you're using what's called Pascal's wager, and it doesn't really make sense. So Pitt says, if you're right and nothing happens after death, then okay. But if you're wrong and a lot happens after death, then there's harm. Doesn't it logically make sense to believe given those odds? Again, belief is not a choice. Are you saying you only believe because you looked at the odds and you wanted to pick the safest option? because I don't think that's really true for you. If that was true, you would have looked at all of the religions and figured out which one had the worst hell and believe in that one to make sure you avoided that hell. But I don't think you did that, did you? Verlin, thank you for the super chat. Verlin says, I'm sorry on behalf of the Christians who hurt you. So there are certainly some mean Christians in the chat. Generally, the mean Christians in the chat don't hurt my feelings, though. I'm pretty used to it. So, and I have wonderful moderators who really are incredible too. And to be fair, my moderators often save me from the worst comments. Oh man, Noah's. Outdoor says, but Santa Claus is a fairy tale based on a real person. Same with Christ. We can't deny the documented history of him and his life. So, yeah, there may have been a real person that Jesus, the stories we tell about Jesus was based on. But similarly, you don't believe the magical claims about Santa. Um, you Many people don't believe the miraculous claims about Jesus. Hmm. Oh, it's getting late. Well, listen, friends, I should probably call it a night. Let's see. Justin and I dropped a new episode of our Bible study. That's up. And we just recorded another one today. Also, please come find me on TikTok. I'm live over there as well, and I usually do my I take guests on Saturday nights on TikTok. So yeah, come find me over there as well. Um, but thank you guys for a great conversation. And again, thank you to my moderators. I really appreciate it. You keep this a happy place to be. So have a wonderful night, and I will talk to you guys soon.